Voluptuous TV.
Yes, sir. 513-4472. We are back on the Mr. Marcus Mixtape Show, and I'm here with the lovely Voluptuous TV host, Miss Chaz is in the building.
Yay!
Yeah, and actually, I think we should call you Miss Positive Chaz.
Miss Positive Chaz. Yeah, I'll take that.
You spew nothing but positivity. I can't get a negative comment from you.
And you won't.
And I won't?
No.
Oh, well, I'm gonna stop trying then, huh? Well, before the break, we always talk about how many times people have come on the show, and this is your first time. So I want to ask you the question that this might be a little negative. Who in St. Louis do you just? I'm gonna state the question like this.
Okay.
This is a career, and I don't want you. You don't need to rap. Like, I'm not gonna tell you you're whack. I'm not gonna say you suck. I'm not gonna say that I don't listen to your music. But perhaps you should find just a different avenue in a nice, positive way.
Right.
So if you could say that to someone, to like, you know what, I don't think this is working out for you, pimping. Maybe you need to change it up. Like, and I know you saw some coonery at the CMAs.
Ooh,
like it.
I won't even go into detail about that.
But you have seen some things that you just. I know it's hard to be positive in that car ride home.
Well, I just shake my head.
You shake your head?
I shake my head and I'm like, wow.
SMH. You just
right. LOL. Right.
So after you shake your head, who gets the Chaz shake my head of the day?
I would just have to say, relative to artists here in St. Louis.
Artists, musicians, anybody.
Well, the ones that didn't make the cutting floor, of course. I mean.
Oh, so you have cutting floor material.
I do.
I
do. Definitely.
Can you stand on it?
Yes.
See, I didn't know that. I thought everybody had a green light.
Ooh, no.
So you have some cutting room.
Unfortunately.
What are some cutting room stories? Just don't say names. Just give us which was one that just didn't make it.
Oh my goodness. Let me just tell you about this. There was someone who I really, really wanted to interview.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of months ago. There was this huge show at the Ambassador, and I like to give a shout out to Mr. Craig Spruce because he's so kind and generous to me.
Okay.
Well, anyway, to make a long story short, thought everything was situated. The guy who was this big person who came was cool with it. But his people stepped in and were so arrogant and nasty about it. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So,
Sounds
I know
like Twister.
Everybody has gatekeepers. I understand that. You have to like go through this person to get to that person. But this person who came that was like really big was not really even all that famous. In fact, this person's uncle, shall I say, is huge, and it was just crazy. I'm like, wow, these people are really tripping. But the guy, of course, was very, very nice. But that was very memorable for me because I'm like, you don't have to be nasty like that.
I think the team can get you more in trouble. A lot of times when you have a team around you, if your team is not solid or your team are not all on the same page and your team speaks for the whole brand of you yourself, or your team feels like they are the stars of the show as well. that's a bad look.com. Yes. That happens a lot.
Definitely.
The entourage thinks that they just as famous as.
Yes.
This is gonna sound intended, but like the hype man think they want to be the rapper.
Oh wow.
I couldn't help myself. Wow. I had to. But like I feel what you're saying. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of times where people have came on this show and I've been like, what are you talking about on the other end? Like I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't it's a lot of that. It's a lot of promoters I don't get too.
Right.
It's a
tough industry out there, and I know, like I said earlier, you have to have gatekeepers. You have to have people that pretty much are like your guard dogs.
Who's the gatekeeper, Miss Chad?
Well, for me,
you a manager. You got security.
I would say I'm my own gatekeeper.
So you giving out your real phone number in the club?
I'm giving out my real information on my business card.
The real So you got 2 phones.
And that's only for a select few.
Okay. So they just can't be like, oh, I want to get on your show. And then,
after careful consideration, of course.
It's a screening process.
There is a screening process, and then you have to be doing something like hot.
What is the first qualification to make it on Voluptuous TV?
Well,
like the very first thing you look for.
Okay, you have to be either an artist or a fashion designer, something to do with entertainment, spoken words, anything that falls under that particular area.
So it's just not all music related?
No, but that's what I've spent my majority of focus on because I'm such a fan of music.
Okay, so have you met anybody in the I'm not into fashion, but I know what looks good and what's a fail. So have you, in the fashion, is the fashion scene here in St. Louis, is it worth talking about?
I think so. I think we have so much talent here in St. Louis.
Like who?
Music, fashion designers, makeup artists, poets, authors. I mean, there are so many people doing so much positive things out there. You just have to get in the land of the know. Well, I know a lot of people too.
I'm gonna start referring all the positive people to you
all night.
If they about positivity and they about something, I'm gonna start referring them all to you.
Even if they negative, let them spend a couple of hours with me, and we'll change their focus.
I'm not giving out intervention. I'm not trying to be turning it. Man, I'm going, Mr. Moore. He gonna give you the written intervention.
But I'm just saying,
gonna have Chaz come talk to you.
But listen, it's getting ready to be hot here in St. Louis. Of course, people are going to trip and show out because the weather, for some odd reason, tends to make people show that really ugly side.
It's because they outside.
What that's about. But you're supposed to enjoy the weather.
It all goes back down to relationships and caking. When it's cold outside, you in the house.
Correct.
You just laying next to somebody. You watching Lock Up.
Or Lifetime.
Yeah, or Lifetime.
Right.
But then when you get hot outside, you want to be in these streets, stunting.
Correct.
Popping bottles, making it rain. Everybody wants to, I want to go out.
Right.
Just can't sit in the house. When it was the ice storm, it was like 0 shootings. It's too much. Right. Now it kind of, makes sense.
But it doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right by any means because, I'm against.
We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it starts at home.
Yes, it does.
I think it really does start at home. You see a lot of, it's safe to say because I was part of this stereotype too of kids having kids, and it's gotten to the point now where children are just having children. I believe I was a kid having a kid. My mom and dad, I knew right from wrong, and I was able to, be put in a position where I can make my own decisions, but I still was a dad and a father, But now it's like children having children.
That's
where
correct.
the child has no chance.
Right, because the development hasn't been there.
And where do you have to look for? Look at your mama your mama dropping you off at Granny's at 8:30 so you can get to the club before 9 because it's free.
And then most of the grandmothers nowadays are 35.
They ain't even a grandmama.
Right.
I don't want to watch them on Saturday. That's my night to go out.
But let me ask you this: do you think reality TV plays a major role in that? Because what I've witnessed is that a lot of reality TV shows have high ratings based upon drama that takes place. And
of course.
What you see is all of these people mimicking some of these shows that they watch. Who can beat somebody down. Who can wear the shortest, tightest outfit and get the most noticed or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, of course. I believe it has something to do with reality TV. I think also it has a lot to do with the music. If you really want to kind of go back just on the music side of it, from 2000 to we'll say 05, 06 around there, it wasn't violent because we had crunk music. Everybody was either getting in the club, getting rowdy. It was a lot of fighting, but it really wasn't violent, you know. But kind of when the music changed and went from less when Crunk was dead, and then it went to they started talking about sex, everything, this, and then it went from sex to just shoot everything. Right. Like everything kind of just went to the next level, and it wasn't gonna go back, because there were times where if I had a high school fight, we'll say if I had a high school fight and you beat me down, then I'll go back. Now I beat you down. Then we have one more. Whoever won that third one, that's it.
Right.
I mean, it was always, and I remember even times it was fights where, like, you know, your friends and they friends, nobody jump in. It's 1-on-1. You know, it doesn't happen. No, that doesn't happen nowadays.
Right.
It's we got to go get him and catch him slip, and it just starts off the wrong way. I mean, it was no rules anymore.
Right. Music definitely plays a major role. I think Lil Wayne and Rick Ross, and I'm fans of both. More so Rick Ross than Lil Wayne.
Okay.
But he's got a new song out with Rick Ross being featured on it, and they're talking about getting like gauges out of the trunk or something like that. I don't know exactly how it goes, but like you just said, how these songs are now playing, and a lot of these young people are influenced by people like Lil Wayne and others who glamorize this type of lifestyle
because they can't fight. It's a whole lot easier to go grab a gun than it is to throw them hands with anybody. I mean,
But why are we fighting to begin with?
Because they can't get along.
But see, we got to find out what the roots of not getting along is all about. And personally, I think it's more about self-esteem.
They're not getting any action.
It's a self-esteem issue.
It's action issue. They can't, I'm telling you, they can't call up that girl in the phone who gets ran like a yellow light, because
I just
they suffering in life.
Unhappy people
make unhappy decisions.
Yes, they do. And they make
unpositive decisions.
Yes, unpositive decisions, and they make it unhappy for everybody else. Misery loves company. That same concept.
St. Louis is full of that. It's 7 o'clock. How can people find you, Miss Chaz? If they looking for you, they want to be part of the TV show, they like what you're doing. How can people find you?
Okay. People can find me on YouTube. All you have to do is type in M as in man, S as in silly, V as in very, T as in terrible, and V as in very. Type those words in to see all of my interviews that I've conducted. Okay. Also, I have a website, Voluptuous TV, and that address is www.msvtv.com. You can email me, msvtv@yahoo.com. I'm on Facebook, but this is my real name.
Don't be on Facebook. You have like 30 posts. Right. People be trying to holler at you.
You can find me on Facebook if you're smart enough to do so.
Okay, then. That's what it is, Miss Chaz. I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. You coming back?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I think you have a hot show. I'm so glad that we got a chance to talk. I feel like I know you a little bit better.
Oh, well, that's all. I just tell everybody to tune in and listen, and hopefully I'll get my shot one day.
But I'm going to work on you, Marcus, because you're kind of negative to an extent. I gotta let you, get some positive energy flowing relative to St. Louis and your outlook.
I just need someone to make it not on the BS level. Roll up, Wiz Khalifa, 513-4472. We'll be back in a minute.